Season 5, episode 5 of Next Level Chef has ended, but we are just getting started. Welcome to the official, unofficial Next Level Chef podcast.
I became an artist, and thank God I did, because we are the only profession that celebrates what it means to live a life.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever this podcast may find you. I hope that it finds you in great spirits. Welcome back, friend, and welcome if you are new to the podcast. I am your host, Honest Am, the host of this here Dear Showrunners podcast, a podcast that is all about TV, and just a little bit of life. And this season, we will be covering Next Level Chef. This is a competition where the contestants, they have a year-long mentorship and a chance to win $250,000. Now, this episode, there's a Meek Mill lyric coming to me that says, and if you want it, you got to see it with a clear eye view. In this episode of Next Level Chef, we will see how contestants who had a clear eye view, a clear picture of the dish that they had in mind, how that was able to help them excel in the competition, and ones who struggled. We already know who our mentors are, but I'm going to go ahead and introduce them anyway. We have Chef Naisha Arrington, Gordon Ramsay, as well as Chef Blaze, who is going to be in our top level kitchen, and he is our returning champion. And so this week, our challenge is all about sea creatures. Each of our teams will only get one big fish that they will have to then break down and make their own 40-minute fish dish. And so in the top kitchen, we have the Trailblazers, or the team Blaze, and they picked the swordfish. It was so funny because originally Christian was like, yeah, I think muscle memory gonna kick in and I'm just gonna chop that bad boy down. And as soon as that thing got there, Christian was like, you got it, Darian. Darian went ahead and bust that bad boy on down. In the middle level kitchen, we have Naisha. We don't really have a name for hers, but I think we're gonna call her Naisha Warriors. Okay, we got the Naisha Warriors in the middle level kitchen. They went ahead and picked the halibut, which I think that probably was the easiest fish to pick. And so they got the halibut, which Matt Dad went ahead and broke down for us. I love how Connor said this man may look like a country bumpkin, but he was moving like a samurai on that fish. And then down in the basement, we have the Gorton girls. They are left with the monkfish. I loved how the entire team picked up that monkfish and put it on the platform. We started off with Gabrielle busting it down. She had a little nick that looked really, really bad. But she, of course, she wrapped it on up. Everybody was like, medic. And then Cole finished proportioning out the fish for the rest of the team. And so now our chefs has 40 minutes to come up with this complete fish dish. The first time the platform came down, they only had one protein. They had to pick their fish off. The next time it come down, they have to go ahead and pick their ingredients. And so now we're going to get into this cook. Now, Christian, he was really excited about making maybe this broth type fishy dish. And I think he just really zoned in on a broth that he got all the ingredients that he needs to make a really, really good broth. And he completely forgot to get a starch. And so as he's cooking and as Richard is going around asking everyone, hey, so what your dish is going to be about? What are you going to do? He gets to Christian. Christian is just like, I got this broth idea. I got some mushrooms and I got some fish. And Richard is like, that's only 3 things. He's like, that's not a complete dish. And so there was a slight panic, but I love how in that moment, Christian, him and Richard just going back and forth, they're thinking fast, and bam, mushroom 2 ways come up. Christian's able to come up with an amazing dish, and he teaches us the beauty of being able to stay calm under pressure. Like, he could have just panicked and been like, I hate to say it, been like Emerson and just like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. But he really, he saw he didn't have all of the ingredients. Him and Richard had an oh shit moment. He was able to quickly pivot and come out with a really, really amazing dish. Next up, still on the top level with, with Richard Blaze and those Trailblazers, is we have Elise. She said that she was going to make this swordfish dish that she was like really really confident about because she had already made swordfish in the audition round, and so she felt like, you know what, I got this, I can bust it out the park. She's gonna make this beautiful lemon verre blanc to go with it. And somehow some way, I don't know if because she was just again overconfident that, okay, I've done this before, I know I can do this, that somehow some way her nerves, her mind, it glitched and she did not get that fish on at the right time. The funny thing is when Richard was talking to her about her dish, she was seasoning her dish up really beautifully, and he told her, "Make sure you get that fish on. Don't wait too late to get that fish on." And we see that despite the warning, despite him telling her, "Do not wait till late to get the fish on," she still ended up waiting to the last minute, and then it ended up coming to bite her in the end. And I will say, because I know that I said that Elise was on, borrowed time and all of this stuff, it was not fun watching her. It was not fun watching her, kind of mess up towards the end. And I will say, just like Emerson, we know that these chefs can cook. Just like Elise had already made a swordfish dish. So it's not about these chefs not being able to cook. It is about the pressure of the competition, the emotional intelligence that is needed to be able to recover in this competition. And we see that Elise struggled just a little bit. And I think it may have just been because a part of her was like, I did this before, I know I got this, and maybe she relaxed, and then that caused room for error. The next person that we're gonna talk about is Andy. Andy was really, really excited when she got the grab, and like last minute, she saw this peanut butter, and it just like something just sparked in her mind, and she knew exactly what type of dish she was gonna do. She said that she was gonna do it for her father. She was doing it for her Cameroonian roots, and she just had like a clear eye view about the dish that she was making, and the entire time as she was, as she's narrating and, doing her confessionals, she's talking about like, this is mine. I'm doing this for my father. I want him to be proud. I want him to, see this dish and know that I did it. This pen is mine. That's the other thing I forgot to say. Oh my God. I totally forgot to say. The immunity pen is up for play for this challenge. And guess what? It's only one immunity pen this whole season, which I'm like, kinda don't agree with that. I wish that we had, like, one for at least each team. This is a tough season. They wanna just put that pressure on the, contestants just that much more, and so we only have one immunity pin, and so these dishes mean that much more. That's why Christian was, like, low-key freaking out, like, "Oh, shit, wait a minute, how am I make a next level dish with only three ingredients?" But he figured it out, and he pivoted, and then Andy, so she just is really focused. She like, "I'm gonna make this dish for my father. I'm gonna make this dish for my Cameroonian roots, and I'm gonna get that goddamn pen." Like she just had this confidence that I have not seen in Andy. And we gonna get there, but I was just really proud of this cook. And again, Andy just shows us how important it is to have a clear eye view and how to do everything with intention. Okay, one of my favorite songs from Solange is she said, "Do nothing without intention. Do nothing without intention." There should be every single thing that you do in your life, there should be a rhyme, a reason for you doing it. And in this competition, we was able to see how Andy was able to pull that intention all the way through. Next up, we're going to talk about Emerson going into the middle level kitchen. We have Emerson. Oh, what's going on, baby? Like, what is going on with Emerson? So we get this grab. He is trying to come up with Asian inspired flavors. He reaches for this red dish and grabs gochujang. I do not know what that is. I know that's the spicy stuff that Christian used the last round, but he basically did not grab Asian ingredients. And I think again about not having a clear eye view or a clear picture or a clear goal in mind. He did not know what type of dish he was gonna make, and so he was just trying to, come up with something, and it really ended up biting him in the end. And I also think, again, it was just like some nerves because we know that Emerson could cook, but I think because he was coming off of missing the platform, coming off of the elimination round, we got Richard at the top talking crap about, oh, make sure Emerson make the platform. He gets some creme fraiche and he's gonna make this sauce with the gochujang. And and Naisha comes over and she's like, "That's creme fraiche in there?" And he like, "Yeah." And she like, "That's gonna make your sauce grainy." And so he was using this creme fraiche like it was heavy cream, and it just did not work out, and it did not bring his dish together. Emerson had like the panic eyes, and like Naisha was telling him to stop, stop, stop. But I wish that she would have went just a step further and tell him like, stop, breathe, think about what you were doing. But she was telling him like stop so that he can like calm down because he was cooking like panicky. And I think like once he knew that the creme fraiche wasn't the right thing to use, instead of like pivoting, he said it was too late to pivot. I think he was automatically already thinking about the elimination round. And it makes me think about the famous quote of the person who said that they can do it and the person who said that they can't do it. While we have Andy on one side who was like, that pen is mine. I got it. I'm going to get it. Ain't nobody taking this out of my way. Emerson, meanwhile, is thinking, oh my God, this is happening again. I don't want to go in the elimination round. I may end up going into the elimination round. And you see how just that focusing on a negative, how it can just bring you down and it can actually influence your performance. And we see that in the dish that Emerson presented. So let's talk about the mentor debate. So this week I want to do something a little bit different. Before we talk about what the mentors thought were the best dishes, I'm gonna tell y'all what I thought was the best dishes. I know I can't eat it. And so of course this is all just coming off of just visually pleasing dishes. My top dishes was, of course, cold fish and grits. I'm like her. Like, how did y'all let the grits go all the way down in the basement? Fish and grits is a classic combination. And she's seared that thing. I would have fried that fish. I don't know if you could fry monkfish, but I would have fried that thing. I would have just made it just nice and country and everything. I didn't really like how Richard said, I'm from the South. It has to have a cream to it. I don't really agree with that. My daddy is from Talladega, Alabama, baby. I've been eating fish and grits my whole life. Never needed a sauce unless it's a hot sauce, okay? I only needed a hot sauce, so I did not agree with Richard. I did not agree with Richard comments. Then my other favorite dish is Daniela. She did a the pan seared halibut in this yuzu sauce. It was just so pretty, so elegant. Had that bright yellow sauce. It just looked so pretty. And she also that was like the second thing. The first thing was the creme fraiche. The second thing was Daniela took all the bones and put it in her broth, and that also freaked Emerson out. And so again, this you got to see it with a clear eye view. Daniela not worried about if you need fish. She is just like, I need these fish bones to go into my broth so that it can be very, very good. And she ended up putting a very yummy dish. Um, and then the last thing I want to point out, two more things, is Darian. He made with his grilled swordfish a romesco sauce, I believe that was. And then Jared, he did his grilled swordfish. Very, very pretty. I think we need to keep our eye on Jared because Jared is quiet. He has really good confessionals, but Jared is low key like a black horse. Jared is just like Darian. They are surprising me. So our mentors, some of the top dishes that they really, really enjoyed was Andy's, of course. They said that was, Daisha said that it was every single part of that dish was intentional. So that's why I came up with do everything with intentional. Blaze even said that it was inspiring. Gordon said that it was just really a next level dish. I personally wish that I could have tasted. Andy did the monkfish with that peanut butter sauce or a satay. Connor, oh my God, Connor dish. He put that halibut in some curry and baby, I want some mussels. Oh, that dish looked so amazing. So that was another one there top. And then their last dish that they really, really enjoyed was Christian's swordfish with the broth. Very good pivot. So proud of how Christian was able to turn that thing around. And so we know that the top dish, the immunity pen, is really going around these three dishes. bottom dishes. Unfortunately, Emerson, when you look at his plate compared to everybody else's, it looked, I hate to say it, it looked like a home dish. Like it looked like, it honestly looked like something I would cook. Like, no shade. It looked like something that I would put up there. Had the little broccoli, like broccoli, rice, and some fish. That's me. Like, very simple. So Emerson just did not do good this round. And then Elise, my girl, her fish was seasoned very, very well. But again, she got it on there late. And so it was like a little bit raw in the middle. When they were doing a mentor debate, it was funny because automatically, you know how Richard is. He's like, "Oh, my team, I mean, that was some of the best cooked dishes that we've seen all competition. They did so great." And Gordon was like, "Bro, if I would have put a head and a tail, that we could put her fish back in the water." I feel so bad for Elise, but they said that her fish was like really, really raw. And so we ended up with Andy being the winner of this elimination round. So proud of her. She broke out her tribal thing, which Darian was looking at her like, this girl crazy. But she won it. Our Gordon girls are safe. And they're able to sit back and chill. And so that means that our elimination comes down to a showdown between Emerson and Elise. And we had just been in the sea, and now we're going to the land. Our chefs, they have 20 minutes to make a next level steak dish. And so with the grab, it looks like everything is going good. Elise grabs the New York strip. Emerson grabbed this ribeye. They both grabbed potatoes. Honestly, again, Emerson, he a little bit better energy this time around. He wasn't as scattered as as he was the first time that he did this showdown. He put his steak on, put the grilled vegetables on. Elise also is doing amazing. She's very confident. She has a clear view about the dish that she's going to make. Her potatoes are going on at the right time. Emerson forgot to put his potatoes on. And so when it comes down to it, and they really had like similar elements of their dish. Emerson had the blistering tomatoes with the ribeye steak and the chimichurri. But what kind of took his over the top is that he did this bone marrow butter that he put on top of his steak. And then Elise did this beautiful steak chimichurri and did it with some potatoes. But at the end, she just put like this oil on it and it really messed up. Okay, so in the end, we end up losing Elise. Really sad about it. Bone marrow butter that really like took it over the edge. And just a fun fact, I don't know if you know, but it's actually not that hard to make bone marrow. I had it I had it on a cruise and we like looked it up, and it's not really that hard. So if you ever want to just like be fancy and do something different, try making some bone marrow at home. All right, final thoughts, life advice. So our life advice comes from Emerson. I don't know if it's just like the nerves of the competition. But I do think because he did not have a dish in mind or even an idea of a dish that he was trying to make. He just said that Asian flavors, and that's not a dish. I think it just came back to bite him in the end, and then those little mistakes of not having the fish bones and using the creme fraiche instead of heavy cream, like all of these little things just got him off base, and then he ended up in the elimination challenge. And then we even saw an elimination challenge like he was still like he forgot to do his potatoes. Like it really came down to the potatoes. Like and I think like because he had that bone marrow, that's why they picked him over Elise. But I mean, I'm just worried about Emerson. And so our life advice from Emerson is just have a vision. Have a vision for your life. When you do not have a vision and you're just out here just doing things to do things, if you don't have a clear direction, like that is when you get off track and just you don't have focus. It's so important for you to do everything with intention, even being in a competition. I really hope that Emerson just takes a moment, breathe deeply, put one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly. My yoga skills are going to get in there. But whenever you are in a high pressure situation, taking that advice from Naisha Arrington, I want to take it to the next level. You need to stop and breathe. When you are panicking, your brain, the oxygen is not going up to your brain and you're not thinking clearly. If you can do that at least 3 to 5 times, you can bring that panicky feeling down and you can come out of that fight or flight mode, and then you're able to think clearly. If we can use that example of Christian, yes, he had the big eyes and he was like, oh shoot, what am I gonna do? It felt like maybe hopefully we can have Christian on the podcast, but it did feel like he took a deep breath and he said, okay, let me pivot. What else can I do with these mushrooms? And he was able to conceptualize a dish. But Emerson was just like panicky. And I want to say, Aisha Arrington, she just really is hard. And I think she just comes from, that she's like that, our old school parents, that old school, like tough love. Like she's not going to coddle you and be like, oh, Emerson, are you okay? Are you feeling? She's like, no, come on, Emerson, you got it. Think clearly. Come on, stop messing up. Think confidently. So she was just on his head. And for some people, when you are already in a frazzled state and somebody is coming at you hard, all that does is just make you more frazzled. But what we can learn from this is when you are in high pressure situations and you are freaking out, you're not sure what to do, you're not sure how to think clearly, you're just in panic mode. Stop. Breathe. Put one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly to show yourself, I'm here. I still have a chance. I'm still present. Once you're able to breathe clearly, get those 3 to 5 breaths, you're able to reset your brain. Then you're able to think clearly and be able to pivot in whatever situation that you're in. And I really, really hope that at some point, Emerson won't be in the bottom anymore. Mentor beef. We are seeing them just continue to butt heads. Blaze is gonna continue to go hard for his team. Thank God that we have Gordon got Naisha in there to keep him just a little bit balanced, because they are button heads. But I was happy to see that Andy came out on top. Like I literally like cheered and I was screaming. I jumped up on the couch. I know my neighbor is like, is she watching basketball? No, girl, I am watching Next Level Chef. Predictions. I have to say, I'm worried about Emerson. I am worried about Emerson. Emerson is starting to remind me of what was that home chef? The girl that we had on Aisha team. Anyways, like he's starting to remind me of one of the contestants from last year, where they're just like nervous and because they've been in elimination, and so now they're just thinking about eliminations instead of thinking about winning. I hope that Emerson can just take a breath, talk to his wife and kids, remind himself that he's already gotten so far, and just start just enjoying it. Yeah, you have to stay in a competition, but I think right now, like the competition of the competition is getting to him. And so I'm a little worried about Emerson. Watch out for Jared. He is a black horse. We got to keep our eye on Jared, keeping our eye on Tim, keeping our eye on Cole. Like these are some people that I think are going to go very, very far in a competition. All right, our next episode. So the hint was something about bowl. So I'm thinking it's either going to be a pasta challenge or maybe we're bringing that ramen challenge back. But we'll see. I will be back next week. We will have a brand new episode on Monday out to you. If you have not already, make sure that you check out the exit interview that we did with Chef Kevin, where he talked about his experience from the audition rounds to elimination to what he is doing now. Spoiler alert, he's doing just fine. All right, now we done made it to the end of the episode. If you love what you hear here, please make sure you check me out at www.honestlysis.com. I am your host, Honest Am, of the Dear Showrunner podcast. Until we meet again, dream them dreams. Never let the internet rush you, and never, ever let someone tell you what you cannot do. I want to thank you so much, Fran, for helping my dreams come true. Get your ass out there and work on your own. I will see you at the top, Fran, or in the next level.